2015, and I think we met during a coaching program that I was running with some other folks, and now you know, I'm learning a ton of stuff from you. So I love what you're putting up in the director's cut, and I'm implementing the things that you're sharing, and it's just a real treat for me to be part of this with you and the rest of the OMG guys. So you know, just humbled and appreciative that I'm here, and thanks for inviting me to do this with you, Joe.
Oh man, it's my pleasure, man. I'm excited.
So what we're going to do today is I've got a 20-ish minute presentation that I'm going to run through that will help us all get on the same page when it comes to mindset. And you know, I like to simplify things down to its very, very basic words that come to mind when it comes to, you know, pretty much solving any kind of a problem, especially an emotional problem like mindset. And there's a lot of, you know, courses and books and seminars and all kinds of, you know, great material out there for, you know, hundreds of years now that attempt to help us with having, you know, a better mindset, a better outlook, you know, half glass full type stuff. And a lot of the material is fantastic, and I've consumed, as I'm sure most of you on this call have consumed, quite a bit of that material. What I'm going to attempt to do on this particular presentation is kind of narrow it down to what I know was holding me back when I first started in business, and I know was holding back, you know, many of the hundreds of entrepreneurs that I've mentored over the years, in kind of one basic concept. And I hope that isn't too simple for everybody here, but for me, what I've learned for myself and for a lot of people is the more simple something can be, you know, the better it is, because I can focus on that. I can handle that, as opposed to, okay, you've got to, you know, pat your head, rub your tummy, dance on one leg, do some yoga, listen to some music, and, you know, sing a song all at the same time. I'm like, forget it, I can't do that. So, but I can focus on one or two things at a time, and usually get by. So I don't know if anybody relates to that other than out there, but if you do, you know, let us know, and then hopefully this will be real helpful for you. Before we get into the meat of this, let me see if I lost my mouse control. There we go. I want to talk about fear a little bit, because in my experience, the number one culprit to having a great mindset, you know, day in and day out, is fear. And I want everybody to remember that fear is temporary. And more so than that, it's usually unfounded. And you know, 99% of the time when we fear something, it's completely made up in our mind. And if you look back at all the things over your lifetime that you might have been afraid of or nervous about or scared to do or anything like that, you'll find time and again that it always worked out. And it probably worked out not only better than you ever imagined it to, but your fear that you had going into whatever it was totally useless time and energy and a waste. And I just want you to remember that and know that that's going to be that way for the rest of your life. And that's why I put that up there. Now here's the real kind of, for me, a shocker. Regret lasts forever, and these two concepts work together. If you let fear stop you from doing what, or paralyzing you, I've seen in some cases, from taking action or doing something, then what you're going to give yourself is regret. And although fear is very, very temporary, regret is not so temporary. Regret for not taking action or not getting over your fears, or you know, breaking down those walls that you know need to be broken down, that doesn't go away very easily. So when you're thinking about, or you're worried about, or you're in that paralyzed fear moment, remember, sometimes what gets me through it is knowing that if I don't do this, if I don't try this, then I'm going to be left with this concept of regret, and that's not going to go away. So anybody else, buy this, relate to this? If you do, give us some ones, give us some yeses. I'm going to make sure everybody's awake out there. Joe, can you see the questions coming in?
Oh yeah. So Paul says, worrying works 99. 99% of the time doesn't work. We got a lot of people here have ones. Resonate. James and Zenith Rose says hell yes. Jeff Wyman says amen. Yeah, everybody's with you, man.
All right, good. So we're setting it. So I'm not the only one. That's good. That's good. All right. So we're all on the same page. We're all human beings. Awesome. All right. All right. So before I get into my presentation, I think it's useful to just kind of show you kind of what I'm all about outside of business. Those are some pictures of me and the people that I care most about in this world. You've got my boys up in the corner there, where I'm an active Scoutmaster and been involved with that program for a long time. And I love helping kids achieve success and become leaders and community contributors, and that's why I'm passionate about that program. And I'm also involved in other youth programs in my community. And next to that, you see myself and my daughter. She's in what's called a dry suit, where we did a hike up the Narrows in Zion. And for those of you that are familiar with Zion National Park, you can walk all the way up the Virgin River about waist deep at times. It's just amazing. So if you ever get a chance to come out, I highly recommend it. And that's my daughter just about 2 months ago. She's 8 years old. There's me. I love climbing mountains. So if I'm not on the ground, I like being on top of a mountain, and I like getting there on my own two legs, my own volition. So that's that was halfway through a 70-mile backpack trek I did a couple summers ago at about 13,000 feet high, and that was my victory shot. And then next to that, that's my wife, my bride. We've been married now for just over 22 years, and we did it all through high school and college, and spent more than well more than half my life together already with her. So that's my day in and day out passions and love, and the business really is a vehicle for making sure that I get to spend time with all these wonderful people and do the wonderful things I love to do. So I'm sure you all have your own story, and I've got images like this plastered all over my office and my car, my wallet, everywhere. So I highly recommend that for you as a little bit of your mindset training. So I'm going to just blow through these points here. So just a little bit of history. I started as an internet marketer, if you can believe this, back in 1994. That's probably before anybody on this call had an email address. And I worked for a company that you may have heard of called Toyota Corporation, and had the real kind of privilege to launch Toyota's first website and a bunch of other cool things with them in the really super early days of back then what was referred to as the information superhighway, for those that are old enough to remember that term. And I went on to build an e-commerce company called ubid.com. Many of you probably purchased products from them before. I was part of the original team that built that company, and everything was going great. And eventually I got the entrepreneurial bug and went into a business partnership that didn't work out really the way that I had expected. And by February of 2009, I'm in Los Angeles in a really expensive neighborhood, and I found myself in a situation where I literally couldn't even afford the $150 to fix my hot water heater. So it was a really like bottom of the barrel tough time, and I'm not going to go into all the details about that here, but just know that no matter where you're at right now, no matter where you've been, no matter where you think things are, sometimes it takes a dramatic event or something that seems really horrible at the time for us to build up the wherewithal inside to break through and grow and get where we need to be. And so, I understand if you're in a situation right now that you don't feel you can get out of and you feel like you're at the bottom of the well, believe me, I have been there. I understand how that feels, and it's replete with a lot of fear. And hopefully you're not there. Hopefully you're not in that situation. Hopefully you're never in that situation. But if you are, I'm living proof that you can and will get yourself out of that. So at that time, I'd already borrowed money from pretty much everybody that I could think of just to stay alive. But I wanted to get involved with video marketing, and I had never had experience with that. So I went to like one of my last ditches and put $2,500 on a friend's credit card and bought my first course. And I learned how to do video marketing and just started taking some real massive action. And even though I was afraid of being on camera and afraid of a lot of things, I just, for whatever reason, got over it and knew that I have to figure out a way to get out of this. And if I believed that if I did the work, if I did the actions, that I would get through it. And I ended up closing my first client, specifically with video marketing, just maybe 45 days after I got into this course. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And even though it was a number of years ago now, they asked me, well, how much does it cost for you to do this video marketing stuff for us? And I told them it's going to cost $5,000 per month. And they didn't ask me for justification about it. I just said it like it was definitive, and they agreed. And the reason I told them it was $5,000 a month is because I needed to make $5,000 a month to survive, and I had no other justification for the fee. I had no other justification for anything. I just knew I had to make it happen, and they became my first client, and they were with me for a couple of years paying that fee, for about 2 years. So, that was how that's how it happened. When that happened, I was like, my gosh, now I've got something. I've got something that people want, and now all I have to do is prove that I can produce results. And, today I help small businesses, and I also sell my own products through e-commerce. And over the years, I've coached literally hundreds of internet entrepreneurs and gone through that. So that's a little bit just a background. I thought just so you guys know who you're talking to here or who's talking with you. Now let's get into an exercise that I really want you to just go through this with me. And if you go through this and if you get it, it will change everything about your success in whatever it is that you're focused on. And there are a lot of things to focus on in OMG, whether you're selling products on Amazon, serving local businesses, selling affiliate products, and on and on. Whatever it is that you decide is best for you, what you want to do to make your money and build your wealth, what we're going to go through right now will absolutely, if you listen to this and if you understand it and if you practice this, I assure you this will take you to levels that you've never ever been before. And if you're already doing fantastic, this will just take you to another level of fantastic. So here we go.
Hey, Brian, can I just add something? I don't want to
absolutely
mess up your flow, but just so you guys know how important this is when I met Brian, I think it was like end of 2010, 2011. I was in a similar situation. I had just lost, several hundreds of thousands of dollars. And, it was kind of like do or die for me. And Brian, he was doing some helping other people that I knew. And I asked him a question. I says, hey, Brian, how many people, that you help make it actually make money? And I don't know if you remember what you said, Brian, but you told me, you said 100%. He said 100% of the people, they make it. And I remember thinking to myself, what is this 100? No way. That's not even possible. And then he says 100% of the people that follow exactly what I tell them, make it. He says, but several people don't. They quit or they stop. But if they follow exactly what I'm saying, they're going to make it. And and I did, and it helped me tremendous. So if you guys are here, you're on the webinar, stop what you're doing. If you're doing something else, and really listen to what Brian's got to say here. So I'll turn it back over to you, Brian.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that conversation, Joe. So, so here we go. So, 3 keys to unlocking your success mindset. The first, you have to understand this. You are correct. Whatever it is that you put in your brain is absolutely true, because your brain will convince yourself that it's reality. If you believe that you can climb the mountain, you will. I promise you. If you believe that you can close a client, and you really truly believe it, you will. If you convince this organ of your body that something is true, it absolutely is true. And there's lots of different ways. I've heard, you hear people talking about this, and it's part of pretty much every single success book and conference and event that you've probably ever heard of or been to, but it is so true. And you really have to, consciously think about this, that you can train this organ, this wonderful organ of your body, your brain, and this is basically what it looks like. Hope that's not too disgusting for you, but that's it. You can convince this that whatever it is will happen. It is true. And one of the things that I find for myself and for everybody else that I've ever mentored is that the outward appearance and the outward conversation and the way you look and the car you drive and the address you live in and the spouse that you have and the friends that you have and the job that you have and all this other stuff on the outside is absolutely meaningless if what you're telling yourself inside and sending to this organ is different or is not congruent with what you really, really want to have happen in your life. And there are all kinds of weird tricks that your mind plays, or you actually force this to happen. Like, I'll give you some of the ones that have come up for me. And maybe you'll relate to these things, maybe you won't, but I'm sure that you got something, that you might relate to that you can pull into this conversation. When I first started out, I didn't have a very nice car. In fact, it was pretty ugly. And I thought that if I drove up in that car and met and someone that I was meeting with to get business from saw me come out of that car, get into that car, they wouldn't hire me. And that's baloney. Okay, that's your self-talk tricking you into something you don't want to have in there. Okay, I used to think that I had to walk in with a $2,000 suit on, or the attorney or the whomever would see right through me and think I was a phony. Baloney. That's, again, you're convincing yourself, and it becomes correct, and you end up failing in that moment because you're correct. You're convincing yourself of the wrong thing. Or, how's this one? You're brand new, or you don't have a client yet, or you haven't achieved results for a client yet, and you don't think you can do it. And you're nervous that the person you're speaking with is going to see right through that. Well, you just convinced yourself of not getting that customer. You really, really, really have to think about this. You really have to get internal with yourself and just get all that negativity out of your brain and fill it up with something else. And I'm going to give you an exercise here in a moment that'll help you fill it up with something else. But every time you find yourself, you hear yourself inside telling your brain something that you don't want to have as an outcome, you need to get back on track as quickly as possible. And I'm going to give you some tools for doing that. But this is really important for you to understand. Number 2, focus. Now, focus is talked about a lot. And I think that, unfortunately, the term focus is confusing because if you look up the definition of focus, it's the process of basically taking something that's blurry and making it clear. And it's that process that is this think of a camera lens That's focusing, right? It's always adjusting to make something clear. And that's not really what we need. We don't need to keep making adjustments to make it clear. We need something different. I'm going to explain that right now. We need what I call, or what is known as, a point of convergence, a single, very specific, very easy to comprehend, as physical as possible, single point that we are focused on. It's very similar to if you're driving your car from wherever you live to a destination. You're not focusing on where you're going to go. You've already focused. It's a point of convergence. You're going to get to that destination no matter what. No matter if you need to fill up your car with gas, no matter if you get a flat tire, no matter if there's lots of traffic in your way, you'll find a way, if it's important enough, to get to your destination, right? And that's what I'm talking about here. It's a very specific, very simple idea. And rather than say, well, I'm focused on making money, no. Make it more specific. Or I'm focused, and you can make it very small and simple, and then get past it. Like, well, I'm focused on video marketing. What does that mean? Have you made your video yet? Well, no. Okay, well, focus on making your first video, and then break that down. What do you need to do to make a video? Well, I need to write a script. Well, then focus on writing your script. That's your point of convergence. Start there. This is really, really important. You have to break this down into what I call answering the burning question then. All right? What is the question that needs to be answered? For me, back in 2009, it was, how am I going to make $5,000? I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't think about anything else at that moment than how am I going to make $5,000 a month? And I kept asking that question. I dreamt about that question. I talked about that question inside my brain every single second of the day. And everything I did was focused on this point of convergence for me. How am I going to make $5,000 this month? And nothing else mattered. I had to put the blinders on, and you may have to put the blinders on too, and get really raw with yourself as to what is the burning question that you must answer. And don't let off that question. Keep asking it over and over again. You become obsessed with it. Okay? I don't care if people think you're crazy. It doesn't matter. Become obsessed with it. All right? Like kids, they don't have a problem with this. I have a 13-year-old who's obsessed with the game Minecraft. Some of you probably have heard of it before. Right? All he can talk about sometimes is Minecraft. It drives me crazy. Right? But he's obsessed with it because he's always asking himself questions about it. It's his point of convergence. Right? It's not going to get him very far in life probably, but for now, that's his burning question. That's what he's obsessed with. If a kid can do it on something as silly as a game like Minecraft, we should be able to do that on something as valuable as how am I going to make $5,000 this month, this week, this day. So find your burning question and intensify it. Right? And the more you ask this question, the more you become obsessed with it, the more it becomes your single point of convergence. It'll intensify, and it'll make up your whole being, and you will convince your brain not only that you can do it, but that's what's important right now in your life. And sometimes you have to have some imbalance if you need to get through some hellacious situations, and that's okay. But single it out. Don't get distracted. Okay? Don't tell me there's shiny objects and that kind of stuff. That's baloney. It's because you're not asking yourself the burning question. You haven't become obsessed with the one thing. Get obsessed with it. And that becomes not focus, that becomes your focal point. And as you go through this process, as you ask this burning question over and over again and become obsessed, this focal point will become clearer and clearer and clearer, and the path that you need to take to get to it will emerge. But you have to get obsessed. And it'll get bigger and brighter and change colors and have shadows, and it'll just keep getting like nothing else matters. And it's the one thing, it's the destination you're going to absolutely hit, just like when you get in your car to go from point A to point B. There is never a question in your mind that when you get in your car to go somewhere, you're going to arrive at your destination. There shouldn't be a question in your mind that if you have a burning question, if you have this point of convergence, if you have the focal point, there should be no question that you're going to get there. And you have to get obsessed with this. And I suggest one thing, on only one, until you've got it. And you will break down walls to make it happen. You will impress yourself. And when you impress yourself to make it happen, that puts the right brain training inside of you, and you'll do it again, and then you'll do it again. The third thing is practice. Okay, now you can call this action. You can call this whatever you want. You must practice your trade. And most of you are making this way, way, way too complicated. And I'm going to prove it to you right here. These are some examples of things that I've practiced on. So when I first started with my video marketing, I wrote a video and I titled it Brian's Webinar, which gets absolutely zero search volume. You could probably create one right now and tag it and title it Brian's Webinar and outrank me because I've never really done anything to optimize this video. It's been out there since 2010, early 2010, and it's still the #1 listing, and I also have the #2 listing because I guess someone made a comment on it or something for this keyword, which is absolutely meaningless, called Brian's Webinar. And I'll tell you, and it's a horrible video, by the way, and if you watch it and click on the link that, I think it's a dead link, so before I disappoint you, don't even bother with it, but it's horrible, okay? I do encourage you to actually watch the video, and you can see that I put myself out there looking kind of not great, bad lighting, bad everything, yet on occasion in the early days, I would say, here's an example of what we can do. We can put your video on the top of Google, your YouTube channel. And I would show them this. And guess what? They don't care. They don't know any different. They just see that I can do this. And they're like, yeah, cool. We'd love for you to do that for our business or our name or our whatever. You're making it too complicated. You're practicing on things like, Denver personal injury attorney. Stop that. If you're starting out, don't start with that. Make it easier on yourself. Here's another example. I told you I was a scoutmaster in a Boy Scout troop. So a year ago, I launched a website, my first from-scratch built WordPress website on my own. And, I did a little content. I did a little teeny insy-bitsy bit of backlinking that I learned from OMG. And in a very short period of time, in fact, in less than 6 months, my troop's website is #1 for all kinds of search terms. Las Vegas Boy Scout troops. We're Troop 770, by the way. Summerlin Boy Scout troops, which doesn't get very much search volume, but if you go to that Google page, I've got videos and links and all kinds of stuff. I own that page. And there's probably another 50 Boy Scout troops in Summerlin out here. Yeah, I totally control that page with almost not even trying. I mean, heck, there's only 7,000 competing pages for it. But guess what? The other day, someone was asking me if I could help them rank their website, and it happens to be an attorney. And I said, absolutely, I can help you get your website in the search results. And I showed him this example. And guess what? He was impressed. And guess what? He hired me. So you're making this too complicated, most of you. I know it because I've seen it before. And you think you have to, show off some, like, you have to be #1 for SEO Denver. That's nice if you could get to be #1, but it might be hard in the beginning. Don't make it so hard on yourself. And then don't go fall back on tricking your brain that you can't achieve results for your client just because you haven't ranked for something that challenging yet. Guess what? You're part of OMG just like me. Guess what? You can instant message Joe or me or Cotton or any number of other people in the group and they'll help you. So don't trick yourself into thinking you can't achieve results for your client even though you've only done something that's quote-unquote non-competitive like this. Last example I'll show you is I got invited to speak at a speaking engagement right around the same time I did that Brian's Webinar video. And I just agreed to do it even though I'd never spoken in front of a large group like that before. And I was going to talk about video marketing, which I just really started doing. And I thought it would be cool and good exposure for me. So after throwing up twice in the bathroom, by the way, I invited my wife to, celebrate and be in the audience with me. That was a really bad idea because that just made me more nervous. It would have been better had I not known anybody in the room. But after throwing up twice in the bathroom, I ended up getting through my presentation and really enjoyed it. But that's an example of maybe the feeling that you may have sometimes going in to meet with a client or doing something. You might feel like, or even literally like I did, throw your guts out, it's okay. Get through that, okay? Just muscle through that feeling. And like I said early on, fear is temporary. And had I not done that presentation, I would have regretted it. But I did it, even though I made a mess in the restroom. So just for review, you are right all the time. Remember that. Convince yourself of the good stuff, not the bad stuff. Center on your focal point. Practice. Take lots of private action, right? What we do in private manifests itself in public eventually. And as a bonus, surround yourself with success. You've got that. You're in OMG just like I am. Tons of successful people here, tons of people that are not only successful, but willing to help us. So I've got a few bonus things I can show now, or we can take questions, or do some hot seats. How do you want to proceed?
Let's do this. That was awesome. How many people here can resonate with what Brian said, or to help them out? Let me give me a 1 here if you like, if it works, or if you guys got value out of it. I mean, this is incredible stuff. This is stuff that I think people really, really need to hear. Right? So, let's see. Janine Martin says she's obsessed and she has the now. Gordon Chow says great stuff. Shelly says holy crap, yes. I constantly tell myself all the time that I will be a millionaire. Yazin said. So we got a ton of awesome comments. So I'm sure you guys have some questions for Brian, and we're going to do some hot seats. But before we do that, I want you guys to go into the Facebook group, and I have the I'm going to bump this up here. We go in the Facebook group, and on that post that I made, if you guys could just go in there and say, put Brian Williams, and then put hashtag dropping bombs. I want to see if you guys could do that. I got to see some. I got to see some of those in order to. We'll go on. We'll get Brian to do some questions, but we really gotta. I want to pump him up a little bit here. So.
Oh, that's kind of. I've got some more stuff too, if you want. I got some bonus stuff that I put on the end of this presentation you haven't seen yet, Joe, that I'm happy to share with the group here. All
right, so here we go. All right, we got people going at it. Let's get it going, man. That's it. We want to. Because we want people to hear this, right? This stuff is important. And one thing that, like what Brian was saying about, like you were saying about Brian's webinar. When I first started, I actually did a webinar, and nobody was there. But I made believe people were there, and I asked questions, so I could put something on my website, and it was just something, to show that I knew what I was doing. So when I met with prospects, I would just tell them, hey, yeah, I do training, I do all kinds of stuff. Go listen to the webinar I did. And it was like a 20-minute presentation I did. I made up probably 20 questions, and and just made like there was 300 people, 400 people on the webinar. So really, really, it's so simple, man. I think my first client, he was a dentist, and I didn't even have a website. Like, I didn't even have my own website yet. So, so it's really, this is awesome stuff. So Brian, let's do this. So what do you, why don't we take a few questions, and then we'll go into bonus stuff you have.
Yeah, after the questions, what I'll do if the group wants is, I have kind of a routine and a ritual that I go through every day that helps me keep my mindset on track. I can share that with the group, and then I got a couple of other just kind of nuggets that I can share that might help people get some clients. So we can do that, but let's take some questions first.
All right, let's see. Okay, so we got about 150 people here on this webinar. So let's see, who's got some questions? This is your time. Tom James asks, how do you deal with the rabbit holes along the way to your destination?
Okay, so I'm guessing, Tom, what you mean by that are are you talking about shiny objects that I would get distracted by, or are you talking about things you might trip on, or both?
All right, we'll see what he says. In the meantime, I'm
Okay.
When what George O'Brien says, when one is stuck looking down, not up, how do you reset? And I think Kirk, this is very similar. When
yeah. So I'm.
Okay. Good.
Got it. I got my slide for that, so I'll cover that on the next slide, George. So just stay tuned. I got exactly the tools you need for that.
And then Kirk says, when you have a setback, how do you focus or get back on track?
Okay. Everybody's asking similar questions, so I'm going to go to my next slide, and then we'll keep going through these questions. But I can answer all these questions with the next slide. So obviously it's on a lot of people's minds. So let me walk you through what I do every day. All right, let me go back to my slides here. All right, so every day, and I mean every day. All right, now some people say I'll do this every day, with kind of a, maybe do it every day. No, this isn't maybe every day. This is literally every day. So what I'm about to share with you are things that I have done every single day, and I consistently do them every day, no matter what. I don't care if I'm sick. I don't care if I'm tired, depressed, excited. Every day I do these things that I'm about to share with you. The first thing I do is I listen to this video. Now I changed this video. I had a different video I was listening to in 2014. This video just got published on December 31st, 2014 by one of my favorite YouTubers, Ping Pong Studio. And you can just Google Motivation 2015 YouTube, and this will be the first thing that shows up. And what I did is I took this video and I actually downloaded it as an MP3 file. So it's on my iPhone, it's on my iPad, it's on my computer, it's in my iTunes library. So I've got the audio of this video as well. So sometimes I watch the video, but I always at least listen to the audio. It's a 5-minute video, and it's fantastic. Now you don't have to watch this video, but pick something that's going to set your mind exactly the way you want it to be set every single day, and listen to it every day. The repetition of the words and the music and the inspiration and the thoughts that will go through your self-talk, convincing that mind of yours on what you really want, you cannot get more value than if you repeat this at least every day. And sometimes I'll do it every day or multiple times. So when my day is not going very well, or something throws me for a loop, or I trip on a wire or a rabbit hole or whatever, I'll go right back to this, and I always have my iPhone with me, so I'll just go to this song or this 5-minute audio track in my iTunes library and play. I put my earbuds in, and I just listen to it for 5 minutes, and after I'm done with that, man, I'm back on track. And like whatever just happened, it's in the past, and my mind is back to where it needs to be. Because, yeah, you're right. All you guys that are asking this question are very smart, because there are going to be times where you're going to trip over something or fall into a hole. And what do? This is one thing I do every time that happens. But not only when it happens, every morning I wake up, I have a morning ritual, which is part of my list here. And I suggest you come up with your own morning ritual to start your day the way you want it to begin, so it begins with success. Mine is very simple. I get up, I have a full glass of water, right? It's about the healthiest thing I can think about putting in my body after a night's sleep. So I drink just a full glass of water, boom, first thing. As soon as I'm done with my glass of water, I drink a full glass of green juice. Again, something healthy and energetic for my body. So I drink a green juice. Second thing I do when I get up. The third thing I do is I listen to this video. And so now, I've been up for maybe 10 minutes. I've got my water. I've got my juice. I've got the video in my brain. So I've done good for my body, and I've done good for my mind. And then I jump on. I have a spin bike in my office. So, but sometimes I'll jump rope, or I'll spin on my bike, or I'll walk for 15 minutes. So I do something that, again, is good for my body. Sometimes I'll listen to this video or listen to this audio while I'm doing that. So the first, 20 to 30 minutes of my day is starting out on the right foot every single day. It sets me up to have the right mindset and the right emotional outlook for whatever's going to happen on that day. So, and sometimes I'll do that whole routine again if I'm preparing for like a client meeting or something else. But that's all I do. It's very simple. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing fancy. I told you in the beginning, I am a simpleton when it comes to this stuff. I don't like to overcomplicate things. So drink water, drink juice, listen to this audio track, and do 10 or 15 minutes of exercise. Pretty simple. Something I can do no matter where I'm at. I can even do it if I'm sick, right? Because I can still usually walk if I'm ill, right? So I can still walk around, for 10 or 15 minutes, even if I'm sick, unless I'm really, I've never been, thank goodness, so sick that I couldn't walk for 10 minutes. So I tried to pick something I can do no matter where I'm at in the world and no matter what kind of feeling I'm in or health I'm in at that time. All right, whoops. I went backwards. So what else do I do? Hold on, let me get to the next slide here. So there's your video. All right, this is oh man, this saved my business life. Okay, I don't know if anybody here is familiar with this app. It's called focusatwill.com. A good friend of mine introduced it to me because he and I both are ADD, and this is my shiny object killer right here. Focus at Will is something you can purchase for, I think, $5 a month, and it goes on your phone, it goes on your computer, and all it is, it's a simple concept, but it basically you set it for like an hour at a time, and it'll play ambient music of your choice, sounds or music or drum beats or cafes, it's all kinds of different options, and you just listen to this with your headphones on, and it'll help you get through whatever mundane task you need to get through to achieve and get closer to your focal point. So if a lot of times to get to my focal point, I have to do something that I'm not that thrilled about doing necessarily. It's not exciting to me, like write a script or something. So I'll put this on, and I'll just, boom, I'll put it on for an hour, and I'll just spend that hour with the Focus at Will running in my headphones, and at the end of that hour, I'm pretty much done with whatever I was working on, even if it's not something I was excited about. And I don't get distracted. I'm not looking at my email. I'm not going to Facebook. I'm not taking phone calls. I'm focused, right? I'm literally tuned out of the world because I got the headphones on, just doing whatever task I need to get through to get me closer to my focal point. So if you have ADD or any variation of that, or you get distracted by anything, this will save you if you use it, and I use it every day. And I already told you about my morning routine, so I'm not going to I'm not going to do that. And then this too, I'll break up my day by doing something physical, right? Nothing like getting your heart rate up for 15 minutes, a half an hour. Don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be 45 minutes on the dot at noon every day. Don't make it something you can't repeat or easily. Just a 15-minute jumping jacks will get you going enough that it gets your blood pumping and your mind working again. So I actually have a jumping rope in my office. Also, I'll jump rope for 5 minutes. It can be simple. Make it easy. Don't overcomplicate this, and that's it. So come up with whatever your everyday is, and don't ever let yourself not do this stuff. It'll really, really help you.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff, it's super important. And for me, when I was doing, before I did internet marketing, I always did construction, and I always moving around. The hard part with what we do is you can get trapped just sitting there. And, when someone said going down a rabbit hole, sometimes when you're trying to figure something out, you start spinning and spinning, and you're not going anywhere. And as soon as you realize you're not going anywhere, you got to stop. You got to break it up. Go for a walk. I mean, I'm gonna download that app, Focus at Will, and you got to break it up so that you can reset your mind, so you can still, so that you can think clearer. If that makes sense. So.
Let's take some questions or bring on one of our hot seat.
Well, let's do this. I got some. Let me see. There's someone asked a question here. All right, let's do a hot seat because I know I have a few people here, and I mean the questions. Man, we get so many questions. But let's do this hot seat. Let me see if Coco's here. Coco, I'm gonna see if I can find you, and I'm gonna turn your microphone on. So just in the question box, just let me know if you have a microphone or if you're ready to come on. Ready. Okay, let me find you here, and I'll unmute you. Now, Coco's she's been pretty active. for quite a while, and she's got a question here. So let's. And I love these hot seats, and this is one of the things when I joined with Director's Cut, and I was talking with David, and this is really something that helped me when I was starting, was doing hot seats and people doing masterminds. And this is one thing we want to start implementing, so let's see how this goes here. All right, Coco, can you hear us?
I can.
Oh, fantastic.
Hey,
right.
Coco, welcome to the party.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brian.
Where are you calling in from? Where are you?
Cambridge, Massachusetts at the moment.
Awesome. Is that really cold, snowy? What's going on over there?
Just a tad and a few feet under, maybe 5 feet under snow.
5 feet under, oh my.
My second floor apartment looks like it's on the first floor now.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Okay, so I just moved the I just brought the presenter over to me because I have Coco's question here that you sent me in. So let's just, why don't you just let us know what you're having trouble with, Coco?
Well, I was trying to pinpoint it as Brian was going through his presentation there. Oh dear, I'm glad I didn't put any more information in.
Well, we could just.
Yeah, be careful what you say, Joe, because you will show it online.
It's going to be, if you send it to me, it's going to come on the webinar. All right.
I know. I think I kept that in mind anyways. It's okay. It's all right.
We'll just put the explosion there.
It's all right. It's on there. Yeah, so going through it, Brian, I was taking each step as you were going through your presentation there. So effectively, I saw how the point of convergence, I've been meeting them. I've now gone through, in the past 48 hours, I think I've made, I counted it, 22 videos now. So I've gotten past the writing the copy and whatnot. I've done 22 videos, so to the point where I've nearly memorized it, but with the exception of different numbers changing, of course. So I'm reaching out to people. That's not an issue any longer. I have no issue with ranking, thanks actually to a wonderful OMGer who helped me find the technical issue with my own website. After we fixed that, all of a sudden I was ranking just fine. So I know I can do it. I don't have any doubt any longer. But now I speak to, as you see here, I get people revved up. They're absolutely wild about the idea of hiring me, and then I give them my fees, and boom, radio silence or silent radio, whatever the proper wording is there. So I don't really know what, I really don't know, to be quite honest. I just don't know any longer. I no longer have any issues. Now that I've understood how to price out the fees, I don't know where I could be pushing them away, or I don't know.
Right. Let me ask you just another couple questions, and Joe, chime in as well. When you say you get them all excited about your services, give us just a very brief picture as to you go out and you meet with the client face to face, or you're doing this over the phone, and when you go out or whatever you're doing, how long are you there? What do you present?
Okay.
And then what is your and then what do you follow up with? Just kind of give us just a brief overview of that.
Okay. Well, I was trying various approaches. So these two examples that he has on the screen here. Let's see the first. Oh, boing! I lost it. There we are.
Tell us about this $1,300 deal that they didn't. So give us some background on this $1,300 deal.
I mean, this is just a small. Okay, it's a small. It's an acupuncturist.
Okay.
Very simply put, outside of town. Yes, I've met with this person because they actually happen to live down the hall from me. So it turns out, let's see.
So the acupuncturist, what was your pitch? What were you offering him for or her for $1,300?
I was offering to put her onto not just the business page, by the way I did, and she's already up to 3, and I was offering to put her website, rank her website #1, basically. So, and I'm just like floored by, I did not price that very high. I mean, 1,300 is hardly anything.
Was it 1,300 a month or 1,300?
No. Oh. Yeah, that was, no, I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. I did not explain myself very well there. No. I think I put it at, let's see, for the monthly fee, I think I had it at $10.87, and then $350 per month for 6 months. And then if she made a referral to me, any paying referral she made to me, I would remove the following month's fee. You know, so it was very, I mean, the way I look at it, it was very reasonable, given that I already know what she makes per visit, which is $130 per visit, and usually there are 10 follow-ups. So I really wasn't, you know, I'm not digging for gold here. I don't think, unless I appear to be digging for gold. No. I don't know.
So you were basically 1,000. Was it 1,087 up front, yeah, and 300 something a month?
Right.
Okay. All right. What were you gonna say, Brian?
Coco, you cut out at the beginning. I couldn't hear. Did you say this is a neighbor of yours down the hall?
Right, but also yes.
And are you a customer of hers?
I am.
You are. Okay, so all right. So here's a couple of observations that I'm going to make of you and the whole situation. So I hope you don't mind if I am candid, and this is not meant to be anything but helpful for you and everybody else who's listening, okay?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
All right, number one, you're awesome, okay? First of all, you're totally awesome. You got 22 videos cranked out in 48 hours. You're out there pitching your business. I mean, you're in the top 5%, if not the top 3% already. And you just need a little bit of a nudge to go over, right?
Yes.
That yourself already. What you've just told me is already putting you in the top 5% of everybody that I've ever mentored as an entrepreneur. So good on you. Keep it up. Okay. Rock on. You're this close, okay? You're this close. So with that, a couple of things I'm hearing in your voice is uncertainty and lack of specificity.
Right. Yes.
And the other challenge you have with this particular prospect is you have a relationship with them that's outside of business. And true, honestly, that can really make it challenging to get the thing done. So let me ask you this: have you ever negotiated her rate when you paid for your acupuncture therapy?
Well, we started to recently, but effectively not in the beginning. So, certainly not in the beginning. You're absolutely right. But
okay.
Yeah.
So in the beginning you haven't, but now you are. So you've complicated the conversation a bit, and
yeah.
You know it's confusing. Like, okay, if you gave her this, you also threw out this thing about, if you give me a referral, your price will be reduced. That's complicated. One of the things that I strongly advise you to do moving forward with anybody that you propose a fee to is to just be specific. And some of the words that I specifically use when I tell somebody what my fee is, it's just real simple. I will tell them, this is how it works. You can write that down. These are, I told you guys in the beginning, I'm a very simple person. I don't like complicated words. Anything that has more than 3 syllables scares me. So I just make it simple. Things I know I can repeat with confidence. So here's what I say. Someone says, how much is this going to cost? Here's what I respond with. This is how it works. There's no other solution. There's no other options, right? This is how it works. Hey, fill in the blank. So this is how it works. In the first month, you're going to pay $5,000. And every month thereafter, as long as you continue to want to work with me, you're going to pay $5,000. You're not going to be locked into a long-term contract. It's month to month. As long as you're satisfied and happy with my service, you will continue to pay $5,000. Okay. That's it. Very simple.
Okay.
And there's no ambiguity. There's no options. Now, I don't know all of what others have taught you. This is my first webinar as a guest in OMG, so hopefully I'll be invited back again. But I keep it really, really, really simple, with no room for ambiguity or misunderstanding, and it's confident, right? It's just, this is how it works. Specifically, in month 1, you're going to pay me $5,000, and that's it. And I don't do any fancy calculations. I don't give them options for referrals. If they give me referrals down the line, I'll get them a bottle of wine and take them out to dinner, maybe not. Depends on if I actually like the customer that way in terms of having a conversation with them outside of work. And I thank them, and I expect that they'll give me referrals because they like the service. I mean, don't you refer people to restaurants and clothing stores and other people that you like to do business with? You don't expect anything in return.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the same way for anybody else. So that's one thing I would change in your mindset and in your approach with everybody that you speak with about, especially your fees and how things work. Is just be simple, be specific, no ambiguity. And, Joe, why don't you chime in?
Yeah, and sometimes people, they're just not worth the hassle. And when I first started, I was a lot like you, Coco. I was, and we've had some comments here. Even people were saying it sounds like almost you're apologetic about your prices, or maybe there's not a lot of confidence in your voice. I was the same way. I was thinking, are they going to really pay me $1,000 a month or $500 a month? And I tried to make it work for people, and I got tossed around. And it's almost like this: if you ever been in a relationship, right, where you like the other person so much, you'll do whatever for them, and they don't like you quite as much, and right, you right, they take advantage of it. But if you're on the other side of that, and you're the one, you turn around, and you're the one that they want, then you have all the control. Well, in a business relationship, there's someone on top and someone on the bottom. There's someone, and you want to be in that driver's seat where it's like, okay, I have this, and I can get you clients or get you here, and this is where I am. I'm, and I'm not gonna, kowtow or lower my standards for you. You just can't afford me. You can't afford me, or this isn't gonna work. It's just not gonna work.
Right.
And some people.
You don't even need to say all that. Just be abruptly specific, and whatever words work for you. The words work for me are, this is how it works.
Yeah.
Come up with whatever words work for you. Maybe you can handle more than 3 syllables. I can't.
No. Not when I get nervous. No, I was laughing actually when you were referring to the. Well, I don't get sick, but my knees jitter unbelievably so when I stand up and speak, to the point I was forcing myself to do that just because, to get over my fear of speaking in front of, well, even to people. I have a
well, I told you what happened to me when I spoke in front of people.
Yeah, so. Well, I was laughing with you, not at you, because the people that would see me behind the pulpit, they saw that I was not kidding when I said my knees were shaking. You could see them shaking behind. So I am unbelievably afraid to stand and speak to people, even if it's just a one-on-one person. I have a lot of difficulty with that, but it's really, I don't know if you can really cross it as a fear. I'll be honest, I am on the autism spectrum. I do have autism spectrum disorder, so I am putting myself up really far ahead of what I am actually comfortable with. So yes, if I do sound apologetic, I understand that. I sounded like that all my life. So, but no, I think I can handle doing what you said, Brian, and just say, this is how it works. I can hear how it comes across from you, and I I feel comfortable like I can do that.
And Coco, you're here on this webinar. I mean, so
oh, you don't know, my knees are shaking.
Oh yeah, but you did it.
Do you realize how many people you're speaking to right now?
No, don't tell me.
but here's the thing: is I put that message out, and I had a few people, and you were one of the ones that says, "Hey, I need help. I want to get this done," and you put yourself out there. And here's the thing about talking to people: the more you do it, the easier it gets. And if you get 10 no's and 1 yes, even if you get 20 no's and you get 1 yes, that 1 yes makes up for the other no's, and the easier it's going to get and the more confident you're going to get. So
you have to be grateful for that one, yes, and just look at the positive.
And one thing I do too, for me, would help me when I would go to chamber meetings and I would meet people. And I would be very nervous because I'm not very smooth with my words a lot of times, especially when I'm in a group. Stuff doesn't always come out the way it is in my mind. So what I would do is I would totally diffuse the whole situation. Is I would just ask a ton of questions. The person, I'd ask them about their business. I'd ask them about, how they get into it. And people love to talk about themselves, and they love to talk about their business. And it makes the conversation, you get to find out more about them, then they start to trust you, right? Now all of a sudden you're their buddy, you're talking to them, you're interested in them. And then when they would ask me about my business, I would keep it very brief. I would say, we help businesses grow. We help businesses get leads, or I do marketing. And then, and then I would set up another meeting for a further conversation. But when you're talking with someone, asking questions is a good way to kind of kill the first 3-4 minutes of nervousness.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can see that.
I want to address one more thing that you have in your notes here, Coco.
What's up?
In your second bullet, you say that you've been turning out video proposals. What do you mean by that? Like, what are you doing there?
Well, I'm doing a lot of research on each individual in this particular niche and individual website, and basically I'm making a proposal as to what can be corrected on the website, and and giving my feedback for this work.
Like, are you calling these people on the phone, meeting them in person? How are you getting?
I plan to, after sending them the video. I'm actually waiting a couple of days because I don't have that possibility to see if they've opened it. So I figured I'll give them a couple of days before I call and ask if they've had a chance to look at it, and then speak to them over the phone. I figured this was my way of getting my foot in the door, at least, or getting over that fear of speaking to somebody. Basically, it's a cold call.
I got it. Okay. So you're sending out like a video overview of the current situation of where they're at online, and okay,
how I can rank
I didn't know what that meant. Okay, good.
Yeah, yes, I'm just showing them.
So again, as I said early on, you're awesome. It's amazing.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, that's great. That's an amazing approach. You should be very proud of yourself for that.
Thanks.
So
yeah, it's a different.
I haven't seen your video proposal, so I can't comment on what that is.
I could shoot you one if you want afterwards.
But you might be. Yeah, that'd be great. I can help you out with that. But you might be saying too much. I don't know. Given what I'm hearing on this call, you might want to look at what you're saying and say less.
Probably. Yeah. Most likely, yes. That's
at the end of the day,
the biggest issue.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the business owner either wants to be or doesn't want to be on the top of Google. Period. And if that's what you're ultimately going to sell them and do for them, it's pretty easy to weed through, a business owner that either wants that or doesn't want that, or is, and so maybe in your video proposals you can think about tightening that up into like a 30-second or a, 40-second video, and even in your subject line saying, look, you know, 30 seconds of your time could put you at the top of Google. Click here and watch. You know, and then literally, it's a 30-second thing, and you have a very simple, specific focal point style call to action for them. That is, look, you know, you either want this or you don't want this. If you want this, call me. You know, and then just, you know, then you can crank out 100 videos in 48 hours instead of only 22. Which, by the way, nobody else on this call has cranked out 22 videos in 48 hours. I'm just, you know, I'm just telling you. So you're awesome.
I
counted it before coming on, by the way, so I know it is like 22.
It's all about taking action. You know, it's taking action. And I was actually I was at a what do you want to call it? You know, an event, right, Brian? It was one of the events you had, and I remember at this event, there's all these speakers coming on, and I was like, these guys have to be geniuses. And afterward, you know, because I wasn't making any money, I was making a little bit of money, and I went up and I talked to him, and I says, you know, how do you make it? Like, what's the secret, right? Because when you're just starting, you think there's some magical secret, and they just said, listen, I think I talked to 3 of them, and they all said the same thing. We just took massive action, massive action, and if you take massive action, you're going to make it, and that's what you're doing. You know, so that's, I mean, it's awesome. And one thing with the email, I actually did that when I started too, is I would find videos that people made that were, you know, and Cotton covered it a little bit, and I'm going to do a module on it a little more, but find through Yellow Pages or like with FindLaw, those videos for lawyers, and I would find these videos that are like 6 months and a year old that have no views. And I would send them an email with the subject line, you know, hey man, I saw this video of you online. I got a question. And then I would actually Photoshop a picture of the person with a play button on it, and it looked like a video in the email. And so they're thinking, what is this video of me? And then I would just go in and show them how, you know, hey, how many searches it gets for the term, and I could put them on page 1. You know, it was really simple, and it was the same thing. I just cranked videos out, and you know, I got clients that way. So you just got to be creative and work with the skills you have.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I almost, in a way, I've done that. I've grabbed photos of their businesses effectively and put it on the PowerPoint page or the keynote page, starting the video. So it does show up. So that's so funny. Yeah. But I think they are too. Now, after what Brian said about 30 seconds, I'll let you guys laugh. My video proposals are 10 minutes long. So, yeah. Anyhow, I'll cut it down. So.
Well, hey, so that's awesome. That is Coco.
Yeah.
That you're sending out 10-minute videos is awesome, okay? So take that down to 30 seconds, do twice as many videos or 10 times as many videos,
right?
And then let us know how that works out for you, because, yeah, that you're saying too much, you're doubting yourself, which is coming through in your conversation. Just shorten the conversation, use some simple, specific words.
Okay.
And you will then keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, I'm impressed with what you've done already. And like Joe said, you know, I don't know what event he was referring to, but behind every single, you know, person on stage and success story, there is a massive amount of action and practice that they've done in private. And then what we see is the public result of that later.
Exactly.
But you know, you want to be a good golfer like Tiger Woods. Well, you better hit 1,000,000 golf balls. And
exactly. Very true. All right. So very good. Thank you so much. That definitely.
You're very welcome.
So to help you out, Coco.
Hey Joe, we've got some pretty good questions.
Incredibly.
All right. Well, let me do. All right, Coco. I'm going to mute you. So thanks a lot for coming on, and
Thank you for having me.
keep in touch.
I will, most definitely.
All right, we'll talk.
Cheers.
Okay. All right.
Cheers.
All right. So we got her muted. Okay. Yeah. There's some.
We've got some pretty good questions if you want to.
Yeah. Let's.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of questions here. And this is a little different than I usually do it. So we're going to try to get as many as we can. You see anything you want to address here, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just, here, I'm just scrolling through. There's so many. Guys, thanks for your feedback. Thanks for your questions. Keep it coming. We'll do as best as this as we can. All right, so Coco, I mean, I'm so impressed with Coco. Way to go, Coco. Great voice. Yeah, that's true. You have a really good voice, Coco. You can use that as a tremendous asset. We should print these out and send them to Coco privately. There's so many awesome comments about Coco.
You know what? Let me do this. I'm going to put it right on this screen because I record it.
It's so cool to see
and
this.
There is a ton. I mean, Listen, guys, give Coco some love in the Facebook group here to give her some encouragement, because I know Coco's been trying for a long time. She's really been active in the Facebook. So when she messaged me, I was real excited to get her on, and so that was awesome. Now,
So, all right, so Spencer's asking, because I threw this out there, what do you say in a 30-second proposal? First of all, I wouldn't call it a 30-second proposal. I would call it something else. You're not proposing anything. You're just weeding out, who is alive out there or not. And what I would do is I would narrow it down into a single focal point type question where you're basically saying, look, here are your, I'll give you the script for the video. Mr. or Mrs. Company Owner, here's Google. Here are your competitors on Google. They're getting tons of business. Here's you. We're on Google. Page 5. They're on page 1. How often do you go to page 5? Probably as often as everybody else. If you want to get to page 1, in fact, if you want to be number 1, call me. There you go, 30 seconds. Send that thing out to as many people as you can. I mean, you can come up with your own variation of this, but it's not a proposal. It's a simple answer to a question. And, if you send out 100 and get 5 phone calls, you might pick up a customer. So I wouldn't call it a proposal. Proposal's too complicated. I don't know about you, Joe, but it's been a long time since I've ever done a proposal for a customer in video or in writing. I don't do proposals anymore.
I used to do 30-minute proposals. I've done everything, but I don't do it anymore. I mean, we're closing. I just closed a deal. We'll probably close next week.
Yeah,
it was an $80,000 deal, and it was $20,000 up front, $5,000 a month, and it was that. It's like, hey, listen, this is what we do. There's a big construction company wanted to, I showed them some stuff. They wanted to brand themselves, for a certain niche, and it was very cut and dry. And sometimes when you get into too much explaining or get too wordy, you lose people. And I remember when I first was doing presentations, a guy actually told me when I was done that his brain hurt. So let me tell you, if you're talking to someone and they tell you their brain hurts, it's not a good sign. Now, someone asked a question here. What? The questions went by so fast. I'm trying to find some.
Most of these are praises for Coco.
Here, Kevin asks, in your meeting with clients, what kind of questions do you ask to set stage 1? Kevin, are you talking about? So a lot of times when if I'm meeting with a client, and I'm doing, say, a discovery meeting, or I want to know about their business. The meeting that I set up with them is basically I tell them it's just I want to know your business. I want to know if what you do fits with what I do, and if we could even work together. So when I go to the meeting, I'm trying to frame it so that I want to interview him to see if he's eligible to work with me. And then in that meeting, I have questions I ask. I ask him, I find out, if he's what's he spending on advertising, how much what's his advertising budget, which usually they won't tell you, or they'll tell you they don't have one, or it's lower than they really can. They're not going to really always tell you the truth on that one. I'll find out what their customer, like what's the value of a customer, what's that worth to them. So if I'm going to try to pitch a barber shop where the value of the customer is $5, right? I probably wouldn't even do it, because he's only going to be able to pay me so much a month. For him to pay, $4 or $5 grand a month to me, I'm going to have to get him, 500 customers. But if I'm pitching a roofer, if I'm pitching a water damage company, if I'm pitching you're pitching a lawyer, they only need 1 or 2 clients to pay for your services. So I kind of try to poke around and to find out as much about the business as I can. I'm sure you're probably a lot. What about you, Brian? What you do in the first meeting?
So the first meeting, the first thing I do is set the tone, and I never meet with anybody for more than 30 minutes. I don't believe in an hour meeting. I don't believe in a 2-hour meeting. If it can't be accomplished in 30 minutes or less, then it's just it's a if we're going to break open a bottle of wine and have some cheese and crackers, then yeah, it can be an hour or 2-hour meeting. But if we're not going to be doing that, then it's a 30-minute or less meeting. And really, it's what we do. The way we do it might have some complexities to it, right? There's PBNs, and there's DAX and DAS, and there's all these software tools, and it's somewhat, I guess, complicated. But the concept is so brutally simple that it doesn't take that long to figure out if the person you're meeting with or talking with is a good candidate for this service. And the number one thing is, do they believe that they need it, right? So my questions are all focused on, does this person I'm speaking with believe, without me trying to convince them, that they need to be number 1 on Google? And if they believe it, the rest of the conversation is, well, here's how it works. and that's it. It's basically, do you believe it's important do you believe that it would be business changing for you, life changing for you, if you were number 1 on Google for your business? Yes or no? I mean, that's what we're here to discuss. So do you believe that would be a business or life-changing event for you, if when you go to your mobile phone, or when your prospects go to their iPads, that when they search for Las Vegas plumbing company, you're number 1? Do you think that would be really valuable and life and business changing for you? If they say definitively, yeah, that would be amazing, that would be huge, then we can have the next part of the conversation with, what would that be worth? What do you think that would be worth for you? Or, I start asking questions. What would it be like if that were happening for you? What do you think would happen? Right? And they start selling themselves. I let them sell themselves. Everybody has their approach, and my approach is let them sell themselves. So usually, if they start saying things like, well, my phone would be ringing, I would get visits to my website, I say, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what would happen. And so here's how it works. Okay? That's why I can't remember anything, but here's how it works. I'll keep saying that. Here's how it works. In order for you to get there, in order for you to have that happen, it's going to take some time. It's going to take 6 months at least. And during that 6 months, you're going to pay me and my company $5,000 a month. Whatever your pitch, whatever your specific pitch is, and that's it. How does that sound? Right? They're going to say it sounds great. It's really that simple. And that's why I said it really is. And I know I'm not trying to poo-poo all the fancy schmancy sales things that you may have learned or heard about or read about. But guys, the more simple you make this, the more specific you make this, the faster you can get through these meetings and the faster you're going to get customers. And I'd rather with somebody and learn in the first 5 minutes that they really don't care about being #1 on Google and say, you know what, this has been great, but obviously you don't really want this for your business, and I'm going to get to my next appointment. And you're done. Rather than spend an hour or 2 hours and then go back and do a proposal and then submit it and then wait with bated breath that you're going to get the magic phone call that they're finally ready to hire you. Baloney. If they want to hire you, you're going to know right away in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. You'll know. And if you don't know, unless you're pitching a multi-$100,000 or $1 million deal, which we can talk about in a different conversation, it's probably not going to happen. $5,000, $3,000, those kind of dollars for the right prospect, that's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right. And
unless you're pitching barbers, like you said.
No, that's it. That's the point. And it's something we all learn. And, I'm sure there's people out there that have been through the same thing, where they chase clients down.
Don't chase them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story. Okay, I'll tell you a quick OMG story. A few weeks ago, literally, I bought, or whatever it was, whenever Director's Cut came out, I bought Director's Cut, Joe, because you were featured in it, and I was like, that's cool, so I'm buying it. So I bought Director's Cut, and I started going through the videos, and I was a little bit like, okay, where do I start? So I emailed Mike Long, and I said, Mike, what do you recommend I do to start with this Director's Cut? And he responded back saying, Brian, I think you should go out and get some private clients using what you're learning in Director's Cut. And I said, okay. So I went out, and I met with a divorce attorney. And in less than 15 minutes, I did exactly what I just told you, and I asked him, do you think it would be valuable for your business? He was not getting any new leads. And I said, how valuable do you think it would be if you were #1 on Google for divorce attorney? And he said, well, that would be awesome. I said, great. This is how it works. And he wrote the check for $5,000. So, I didn't do a proposal. I didn't do anything. I have an invoice that he signed. That's it. And that's what I'm saying about overcomplicating stuff. Should I have a contract? I don't know. Maybe. Talk to your attorney about that. This is month to month. He'll pay me as long as he's happy.
Yeah, and
that's it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and that's one of the concepts that really helped me out too. Is I'm getting a little echo here. Hold on a second. All right.
Hey.
Oh, all right.
Something here. Hey, Joe.
Oh, all right. I was just cutting out. Yeah. What's happening?
So one thing. Some of you are out there saying, "Well, okay, that's great for Brian to say because he's got all these examples and testimonials and things that he can show." Tell you what, my new client did not ask for. He didn't ask for testimonials. He didn't ask for references. He didn't ask to see my result. He didn't ask for any evidence. Period. Because I just said, this is how it works. So you don't need anything. You just need to repeat the words. And then take a breath, celebrate, and then go to OMG and get some help if you need it.
Yeah.
It's out there. Trust me.
And don't feel bad about dropping people, or if people don't want your services, or they don't feel like you're a loser, or don't feel like, man, if I would have pitched them better, then they'd be my client right now. Odds are, if they're not excited about ranking, if they don't want to be on the front page of Google, they're going to be a pain in the butt client anyway. Because I had clients like that. I chased clients. I was like, listen, I negotiated my terms at the beginning, and they were always just the worst clients. And then the guys that are like, hey man, I want to be on top of Google, and they paid me what I asked. They were the best clients. I mean, I have some clients right now for 3 years. 3 years, going 3 years, yeah. The same clients, and they don't ever call me. It's like so.
Hey Joe, someone's asking some questions that are fear-based, and I'm not going to mention this person by name because I don't know if they want to be identified. So I'm going to just handle this right now because if this person's asking it, then other people probably are thinking it. So we'll just call him GC, and he'll know who I'm talking about.
I know. Yeah.
The questions are basically, right? I mean, it's all fear-based, right?
Yeah,
Do I guarantee the results?
Yeah.
It's really scary going month to month. What are my ranking techniques, and how can I be assured of all this, right? These are all this is all mindset stuff, guys. And this is the fear creeping in. And it's okay to have it. We've all had it, and I still get it sometimes, and that's why I go back and watch my videos and stuff. But here's the deal. Month to month is fine, all right? Do you want this? If you have an unhappy, pissed off client, do you even want them in your life? Probably not. So what good's a contract do you? It's just a headache. You know, I mean, if you're looking to, you know, depends on where you're at. If you want to lock a client in for on a contract basis, by all means, go for it. All right. I am not that good at doing that. I'm not a contract guy per se. I will be specific about how it works, and I'll remind them throughout the process how it works. But you know, either they're going to be satisfied and happy, and we're going to have a positive, cordial, good relationship, or not. Now, ranking techniques. There's so many things you can do for ranking techniques, both with their website and other things. I mean, Joe laid out for you step by step how to rank a video in Director's Cut. He gave you 3 different processes and strategies for doing that. At least I watched all 3. Did you give 3, Joe? I think you gave 3 different.
I gave 3 different ways. Yeah. Okay,
so I watched all your videos, loved them, and of course, you know, I'm as you know, doing version 3 as well, and it works. Okay, and so if you really need, you know, a technique of some kind, rank a video for them. Make a simple video or Fiverr gig the thing out, and do that while you're working on their website, so you can show some success and keep them happy. All right, while they're paying you $5 grand a month or $10 grand a month. But I really suggest don't overcomplicating this. It is not scary. I mean, if you have 10 customers paying you $5,000 a month and you lose one, is that scary? No. Yeah. It might be scary if you only had one. But you know, you're not. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if I've answered that effectively.
No, I think it is, and that's the thing is a lot of people are worried, just like you said about how am I going to rank the video, how am I going to rank their site? Listen, if you don't have a client, you don't have a business. Okay, so when you get the client and they're paying you, guess what? You can figure out how to rank their site. If you get enough money, you can hire an OMGer to rank their site. But the thing is, if you don't have a client, you don't have a business. And you know, so that's I mean, I don't know, that's the biggest thing.
So
and the other
GC,
thing,
if you got to go through the training. If you want techniques, there are techniques up to galore in OMG that will teach you how to rank videos, Amazon products, websites, you name it, press releases. Go in there. Everything you need to know about that stuff is there, and if you ever get stuck, message people that you see being featured in those videos, and they will help you.
And 2, it's like as far as the contract, you know, I never have a contract. Okay, I have one now with this construction company because it was a different kind of deal, but just my regular clients, even the ones I had for years, it was always, listen, it was a big chunk up front, and then it's month to month. And that was my pitch. You don't want, you know, you can stop any time because they're always getting locked in these crappy contracts that no one does anything for them. So if I tell them, look, it's going to be probably, you know, 6-7 months before you hit page 1, that's just the way it is. And I get them to page 1 in 3 months, I look like a hero, you know. But so it's all, you know, how you frame it and how you set their expectations. So I wouldn't be worried at all about not having a contract. And GC, I see your comments in here, and I don't know if you're just being smart or what on some of this stuff, but you know,
just for a laugh though. For those, if you're out there and you guys know how to sell like crazy, I'll tell you what, charge 10 grand a month or something, and then outsource it to Cotton or Joe or one of the other superstar LMGers, and they'll split it with you. I mean, if you really just want to sell, you know.
Yeah,
don't learn any of the tech.
No, there's a lot of people that just want to do the work. So you can partner with. I mean,
there's tons of qualified people to do the work. So sell like crazy and leave yourself some profit.
And and you gotta hustle. Like here's the one thing, the biggest thing to help me, and I know Brian and even Cotton, we hustle, and not hustle in a bad way, like we're gonna scam people, but it's figuring out what people need and figuring out how to get it done. And if you go in with that mindset, and this guy, he needs leads, I'm gonna figure out how to you're gonna get it done. But if you throw up obstacles like, well, I don't know, maybe I won't be able to get him in the 7-pack, or maybe I won't get his video up, then that negativity is going to keep blocking you. So sometimes you just got to swim, you got to go in the deep end. And the good thing about being an OMG is even if you're swimming in the deep end, you have tons of lifeguards around you that are going to help you when you need help. So, all right, well, we did have one more. Brian, do you got time for one more? I know you have somewhere to go.
I'm good. I got time.
There was another person I had in here that messaged me, and I want to give him a chance to get on if he's here. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Theory Valencourt. Do you see his name right there, Brian?
No, I am not seeing that. Hold on.
Let me see. You can see my screen. I don't know how to pronounce. Oh, there he is. He says I'm here. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. I don't even know. The names sometimes really get me. So let's just see. Hopefully you have some earphones so we don't get too bad of an echo.
Oh, there he is. I see. I'm here.
Oh, did you got him?
No, I see his question.
Oh, I got him. I just unmuted him. Okay.
All right.
All right. Hey, you there?
Hey, what is going on?
Hey, what's happening? So, can you pronounce your name for me?
Thierry.
Thierry, okay, Thierry.
Yeah, it's a French name, so even for me in English, it's hard to say.
Well, good. It's good to have you on.
You're based in Mexico, correct?
That's correct.
So, French name based in Mexico. That's a cool story.
Yeah, I'm actually Canadian, but I live in Mexico now, so yeah.
I love it.
What part of Mexico are you in?
I'm in Cancun.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well, I feel so sorry for you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool here. But it's warm, but it's nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
So what's your biggest challenge here? I know we have it here, but why don't you just break it down for us a little bit?
Well, I guess my biggest challenge is getting more clients right now. I have one client, and I'm in debt, so I have minimum payments to make, and the client that I have is not enough to pay that, so I feel like I have to beat the clock or something, you know what I'm saying? As if I have a clock ticking down, and I'm scared I'm not going to make it, and all of that stuff. So what I would really like to do is just start getting clients left and right so I can get out of debt and just get rolling, yeah.
So you're looking for clients, so you don't speak Spanish, so you're going to try to get them remotely. So you want clients from the U.S. or from Canada?
Yeah, that's correct. My client I have right now is Canadian. So, I have a few ways, but obviously I could probably do cold calls, but I've never cold called too much. There's a lot of resistance in doing cold calling, and I got over my fear of creating videos kind of recently. So I might start doing video proposals or something. I'm not sure yet. I don't have a clear plan of attack, and I guess that's what I need to work on right now.
All right. Videos proposals work really, really well. Also, there's. Let me see. What are some of the other ways that you were getting clients? Is there any way at all right now that I know you have a couple here, and cold calling's tough. Like for our business, I'm going to tell you right now, it's very, very hard because people are getting called nonstop. But what are some of the other ways that you have or that have worked?
Well, there's one way is I use a freelancer website, and that's how I got my first client. and I had a call with another at the beginning of the week, and it's a referral from my mom. So the freelancer website, it's all right, you know, like I see like there seems to be a few good prospects on there, but it's not crazy, you know. I feel like if I do like an hour of like looking on these sites, I've basically gone through everything that there is, so it's not enough, you know. I kind of need something probably that I can spend like 10 hours a day, maybe creating videos and, you know, like just going hard on it. If that makes sense. I
yeah,
mean,
that makes sense. I mean, I have some ideas for you, but Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I have some very specific ideas for you. So, I just read the write-up here that Joe put up in front of us. So, am I to understand that this debt that you need to cover is $1,200?
yeah, per month.
Okay. So there are so many businesses that $1,200 for the services that you can provide per month is like such a low amount of money for them. There's so many types of businesses. I mean, pretty much any medical profession, any legal profession, any almost all home improvement professions. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on with the kind of businesses that that amount of money is such a small amount for them that you've got a lot of options. And one of the maybe quickest ways that you could target customers is go for the ones that are already bought into the benefits of being on the front page of Google. And you don't need any tools for this. I mean, there are plenty of tools that'll run reports for you, but I find those things kind of to bog me down. Just go and pick, a niche like pest control or, I don't know, anything you want, roofing, tree trimming. I mean, just a whole bunch that come to mind, and see who's buying advertising on Google in different parts of, if it's Canada that you're targeting, then Canada, or the United States, whatever, and see who's buying ads that is not on the front page of Google. And a lot of the times people are buying the ads because they're not on the front page of Google. And you can build your whole prospect list just based on who's buying Google ads. They already believe in the traffic from Google, and if you just focus on that one specific lead generation technique, which is not new, it's not complicated. Again, I said in the beginning, I'll say it again, very simple. You should very, very confidently be able to cover well more than the amount of monthly number that you need to you need to hit for yourself, just by using that as your single and sole focused prospecting strategy. And whether you do video proposals or the 30-second video thing we talked about earlier, or just simply call the company and say, hey, I'm calling you because I saw your ad on Google, which is A, true, and B, when you call a business and say, hey, I'm calling you because I saw your ad on Google, that makes them happy because it makes them feel like their ad on Google actually is being seen by somebody other than themselves. And it's likely that these niches that I mentioned, and there's dozens and dozens of more, are paying way more than $1,200 a month for their Google ad campaign, probably double, triple, quadruple that amount of money. So all you got to do is just find the one or two customers that are like, yeah, I'll risk, quote unquote, $1,200 or $1,500 to see if this will work better than or as well as my Google ads. Sure, I'll try that, for a few months, and you might find yourself well above your $1,200 threshold that you need.
Right.
So again, for me, it's about focal point. So if your focal point is I got to hit this $1,200 a month, pick the one prospecting method that's going to produce a $1,200 or more a month client. Pick the niche that will pay it and then just go with it like a vengeance and put blinders on and just keep going until it happens. And it should take days, if certainly not more than weeks, to fix that problem.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways. I mean, there's so many ways, right? So you can, like what Brian says is excellent. You can lead gen, right? You can do lead gen sites. You can do local CPA offers. There's training on that where you don't even need a client. You know, some of that stuff takes a little time to set up. Now, one of the things, I just did this training here, but it's not finished, but like roofing repair contractor in Rockville, Maryland. Now, this is a pretty long-term, I mean, long-tail keyword, right? But if you look here, I have this video. You look at it, it's 1 day ago. Okay, I uploaded this video yesterday, and actually about 30 minutes after I uploaded it, it hit page 1. Now, this guy had made this video over 6 months ago, and you know, I looked at his website, I looked at everything, and he's only had 20 views to this video, okay? And I ranked it, and I put a tracking number on it. Now, what do you think would happen if I contacted this guy and says, listen, you know, I was watching that video you made, you know, and it was very interesting, and you know, and I want you to Google roof repair contractor in Rockville, Maryland. I actually ranked it #1. I mean, do you think that would start a conversation?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, right? Because this guy paid, I know he probably paid about $1,000 at least for this video. And probably the guy that sold him this video probably told him, oh, you're going to get tons of phone calls. It's going to work so good for your business. Well, guess what? It didn't do squat for his business. But yet I took it and I ranked it #1. And I could have ranked it, I could rank it for anything. I could rank it for roof repair contractor or flat roof repair contractor in Rockville, Maryland. You know, it doesn't matter because his website is nowhere. So I'm not going to pick the most competitive keyword. I'm going to pick a long tail keyword because all I want to do is I want to capture his attention. So, you know, it's stuff like that. If you put that in an email, if you're emailing the prospect and you put up something like that in the email to them, I mean, you're gonna get their attention. The other thing you can do is if you're, I'm trying to find the channel where I found that video. If you're trying to just make $1,200 a month, another thing you can do is, I mean, do you know how to create videos? Like, did you say you know how to make videos or no?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you mean with Camtasia or?
Like Camtasia or maybe with Sparkle or something?
Yeah, I've made some videos before.
Okay, I mean, let me tell you what, I have a lot of training in there on ranking videos for affiliate products, for clients. A lot of people don't have the time to make videos themselves. So, I mean, you can post something in OMG and say, hey, you know, I'm going to create videos, animated videos for $50 or $100, and you know, in the meantime, as you're trying to get bigger clients, you can pick people up. You know, you can be doing videos for other OMGers or partnering with other OMGers to fulfill some of the work. You know, if you need to make that money right away. But this here's a site. It's called Turn Here Local. So if you go to youtube.com/Turn Here Local, you'll see there are a ton of videos here. I mean, they do, I mean, I don't know how many videos, it's like 10 videos they upload a day. So what I'll do is I'll go through here and I'll find videos that are from like last year or 6 months ago. And they're, I mean, these are people who are spending money on advertising. These are people who have advertising that does not work for them. So, you know, that's one way. And then, I don't know, were you on Cotton's webinar yesterday?
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So that right there, let me tell you, if you guys weren't on Cotton's webinar yesterday, when he puts that replay up, you got to listen to it, because if you sit down and just do what Vinny was saying, what does with the security, and I'll bet you if you put out 20 emails to people, you're going to get a client, right? If you do 20 emails and you do them right, you know, you know, I almost guarantee you're going to get a client, because that's something that they're not getting hit up with all the time, right? It's something that they need. They don't have a choice. So, you know, right there's you can spend your time doing that too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. I'm gonna start focusing on that pretty hard. So
let's do this. Let's make a little plan for you. So what kind of steps do you think you're gonna take tomorrow? You want to take tomorrow?
Well, I'm hoping they're gonna have the replay up for the webinar, because I don't remember like the steps and stuff to like do the hacking or whatever, the security thing. So if it's up, I'm definitely gonna watch it again, just to make sure I know what I'm doing and how to do it. And then I'm gonna probably take a look at people who are paying for PPC ads in a niche, like a surgery niche maybe, and I'm gonna see if their website is protected or not. And if it isn't, then I'm gonna send them an email with maybe a video in it, maybe not. I haven't worked that out. Maybe not even, or maybe, I'm not sure. And I'm gonna try to send as many as possible, I guess.
All right.
So let me just, I want to make a statement here. Don't two things. Number one, don't overcomplicate it. Please, please, please don't overcomplicate it. I unfortunately did not attend live Cotton's webinar yesterday. He was telling me when he was out here last week in Vegas basically what he was going to talk about, and it's totally awesome. So I will be watching his replay. And if it's something that you want to pursue, which would be a fantastic idea, just focus on that one thing. I really can't stress this enough, and this goes back to what I covered earlier in the presentation about focal point. Is no matter what, you know, the quickest path for anybody to change their stars, to, you know, make it happen, is have the focal point, and that includes the service that you're going to offer to a customer. So if you're going to offer the security service that Cotton and his guests talked about last night, by all means, stay focused on that. Focal point. Make it your burning question. Make it your obsession. Get intense about it. And don't get distracted. Don't let yourself get distracted by anything else. And just do that. And that will be a much quicker path to achieving what you want to achieve, because you're focused on it. And I really, really encourage that. I see a lot of comments in the forums for OMG about where do I start, what do I do, there's so much information. And what I want to reach out and tell everybody is pick a focus, master it. Don't just become okay at something, master it, and then you can own it and you could make a tremendous living. I have a good friend who all she's done for the last, I don't know, 7 years is focused on one niche, and her customers pay between $300 and $700 a month for this, for her services to do kind of what we're talking about here, and she makes millions a month doing this because she's focused on it, she's mastered it, and nobody can do it better than her basically because she owns it. And these are from $300 to $700 a month clients, right? She owns it. She's making millions a month doing it. She's awesome. And nobody can beat her because she's so focused on it. She doesn't care about anything else but that. So pick it, stick with it, master it, own it, and then Joe and I and others will hire you to do the work because you've mastered it. So, and others. So, you know, really get clear on this, guys. The biggest weakness I see with most internet entrepreneurs is they're like off doing this and off doing that, and they're not mastering a particular discipline. When I started out, I mastered video. I mastered not only how to rank video, I mastered what to say in video. I mastered how to close in video. I mastered the timing of my video, the quality that my videos needed to be. Every component, from how I opened a video to how I closed the video to what I said in the middle of a video, I mastered it. I hired expensive people to coach me through the process, and I got better than them at it. And I was able to build a multiple six-figure a month business just with that. I didn't do anything else. I didn't rank websites. I didn't build websites. I did nothing else but that. But I was so good at it, I'm still so good at it, that I'm the guy to go to for that. All right? I own it. And I really can't stress this enough, folks. You know, so if you want to go for what Cotton talked about in his webinar last night, my gosh, go for it with a vengeance and be the owner of it.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
Yeah, and that's it, man. It's that, and when I mean that's kind of what I was talking. A couple of webinars ago, we talked about this also, is that focus, and I mean I couldn't have said it any better. I mean that's whether you go like there's a lot of good things that come up in OMG, and if you have ADD or if you like new things, it's very hard to stay focused because you want to do this, or hey, this guy's doing this, or this guy's doing Amazon or ClickBank or this. But you know, if you pick one thing and stick with it, you know that's the fastest way. I don't know. I can't say any better than what Brian said. So that's
It's so important, guys. I mean, and what pains me, I'm going to be totally honest with you. What pains me is that a lot of you are still going to get distracted. All right? I hope when you do, you remember this call, you remember my voice, you remember what Joe is saying, what I'm saying. Get back on this path and master it. When you see the amazing talent of anybody, like an Olympian, right? I love the Olympics, right? I love watching the Olympics. I try to feel for the Olympians and what they must have gone through to get to where they got to be able to make it as far as competing in our world's most competitive games. And how do they get there? Blinders on, baby. Focus, baby. Nothing got in their way. They had a focal point, and they were going to do everything that they possibly could do physically, mentally, emotionally, and who knows what challenges they went through, but they were so focused on their focal point, they made it to the Olympics. They weren't worried about if they could be good at skiing and gymnastics, right? They just focused on one, and they made it, and they become heroes. And I want you all to become heroes in your own right, and the only way you're going to do that is to get freaking focused, focal point. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you said it. That's the way it is. And when you hit obstacles, right, and the hardest thing with internet marketing is if you're not making the big bucks right away, and I see it all the time, is people put in reports, and it's awesome. You know, I made 10 grand, I made 20 grand, and I made 6 grand. And sometimes people get discouraged because they're like, well, why ain't I making that right now? And they just got started. So they stop what they're doing and they do something else. And then they don't make it right away, so they stop what they're doing and they do something else. And I was looking for a picture I had, and it's almost like you have 3 paths down, right? And then you keep going down one path for 20 feet, turn around, come down, go down the next one, turn around, come down, go down, right? You're never going to get to your goal, right? All those paths lead to the same spot, but it's only if you stick through, go over the obstacles, keep moving, you know, are you going to get to that goal? So, I mean, that's probably the best advice, especially for internet marketers, is staying focused. So did that help you out?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, definitely focus is a big thing. So, all right.
All right.
I'm just, yeah, because my focus has been all over the place a little bit, but I guess I've gotten it a little bit more straight the past few months because I had a client and I had to deliver. So, I mean, I learned SEO a lot, and so now I just need to get more clients and focus on it like nothing else matters pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, if you need any more follow-up help, just reach out to Joe or myself through, you know, the forums or whatever. We're in there.
All right, sounds
Yeah,
good, man.
and listen, if you're good at doing sparkle videos, send me a, I'll message me, because I'll put you to work. I'll put you to
There you
work.
go.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is that, like, there's people who need stuff. Like, for me, dude, to go out and learn how to make a video, and it's just a waste of time. I'm just going to hire someone who knows how to do it. And if you know how to do it, and you'll pop them out fast, and you make decent money, So, yeah. So we'll talk later.
All right.
All right. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming on.
No problem. Thanks.
All right.
Hey, good night, guys. Hey, can I answer one question that came up recently,
Yeah.
Joe?
Uh-huh.
All right, someone's asking, are we going to get the Amazon client getting secrets?
Oh yeah. Well, you're the Amazon man, so.
I didn't know that was part of our topic, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a real simple way. If you want to get Amazon clients and do business for them, almost all, and I mean like 95+% of people that are selling on Amazon, they really don't know the very first thing about getting exposure for their products outside of Amazon. Some are really, really good at getting exposure for their products inside of Amazon, but by and large, they really don't know. They don't either because they don't have the time, they just haven't figured it out, whatever, to get exposure for their products on YouTube or Google or Facebook or websites, anything like that. So if you really are interested in, helping an Amazon seller, improve their business and providing value and also earning an honest and very lucrative consulting fee, I would focus on going to Amazon and looking at the top selling products. And if you don't know how to do that, you can just Google Amazon bestsellers and it'll take you to a link that will basically show you the best-selling products in each of the Amazon categories. Again, very simple. And just clicking on the products there, finding those sellers that are there, and then you can message the seller right through Amazon. Just log in with your Amazon account and message the seller, and just simply ask them, would you like to have your product #1 for Google for fill-in-the-blank product name or fill-in-the-blank category or whatever it is. If they're selling, I don't know, if they're selling crystal glassware, would they like to be on Google for crystal glassware or YouTube or something like that? And you will get people that would like to know more. These are people that are open, typically, as opposed to some of the local businesses that have been barraged. These people are typically more open to, wanting more exposure and more traffic for their products. And you could, I like video, so for me, I've offered video production and ranking services for Amazon sellers. That's worked out really well for me. But there's other things you could do depending on your skill sets and what you're particularly interested in. Again, I would focus on a particular product category, maybe something that you're into yourself. I mean, we all buy products, so for me, as you saw from my earlier slides, I'm into the outdoors, and so when it comes to things like outdoor gear and things like that, I pretty much that's what I do outside of my business. So I'm passionate about it, and so it's very easy for me to relate to Amazon sellers who are selling things like backpacks and water purifiers and fire starters and all that weird stuff. So I can talk their language, and I know about their stuff. Plus, I'm a Scoutmaster, so I've got a little bit of credibility in that space, and I definitely use that from time to time. But whatever you're into, go for it. Focus on it, and follow follow Joe's video ranking stuff, or if you're good at building websites, you can do that for them, and maybe do some lead gen for the Amazon sellers. But it's really, you'll find that the reception you'll get from an Amazon seller is far more open typically than you'll get even from like dentists and other people that have been barraged with people like us trying to sell them ranking services. So that's a simple tip if you want to go focus on that particular client niche.
All right. Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's see. So let me. How much time you got, Brian? I know you got to get to a.
Actually, Joe, I appreciate you being sensitive to that. My meeting got pushed, so I've got another 20 minutes or so.
I got one more person that I was trying to get to the people that messaged me that wanted to come on, because I think it takes a lot, for someone to be willing to come on a webinar. And Adrian Cooper, let me see if you're here, Adrian. He had a question about Amazon products, about doing some. Let me see. I'm going to see if he's still. Let me see if I find him here. Yes, he's here. All right. Hey, can you guys see his question up there? Brian, can you see his question on my screen?
No. I don't know how far back up. There's so many questions.
No, on my webinar, on the webinar screen. I pulled it up.
Okay. Hold on. Let me move something out of the way. I see it.
All right. Everyone can see. Okay, Okay, Adrian, I'm gonna unmute you right now, and then we'll get into it. Hey, Adrian, how you doing?
Yep, I'm here.
Fantastic. Where's here? Where are you from?
Launceston, Tasmania, Australia.
All right. Welcome.
Hey, I gotta know, what time is it over there?
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh man, that's great. Are you on your beach chair drinking a pina colada or something?
No. I'm at home. I've got 2.5 acres looking down to the South-Est River, which is the main river that goes into Launceston. So, yeah, that's me in summer here.
Nice. 2.5 acres. That sounds lovely.
I love it. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So, what's your question here?
Yeah. Well, basically, I've just been redundant from my previous works, picked up something else. My wife has been working on Amazon selling for a long time. We did a white label product and we've got that going. We finally got it up and running and going, and we're consistently selling about 5 units a day, which we're quite happy with, and that's just give us enough income to I've got 3 days of work now, and I've got 2 days, and I was looking for the other 2 work, but that sort of filled the gap. So now it's sort of like, well, I'm going to get into this client consulting stuff. They say that's where the money is. A lot of what you said today is already answered all those questions. I know it's me for fear, like what can I, can I do it? Can I do it? Well, we've built the website. The website does rank for its brand name, so yeah, and you type in the brand name, and we've got YouTube video comes up, we've got a few of that sort of stuff. The only thing is our website ranks quite well for terms, the keywords that we're going for, but the Amazon site itself, which has been up for nearly 2 months, does not rank for anything. I did a Fiverr gig to it. I was just wondering whether there was some funny gigs with that or why that's not ranking for anything.
Adrian, are you asking how to rank your Amazon sales page on Google?
Well, yeah, I've done a dash stack to it, and
okay.
I've done a dash stack to it. I've done a Fiverr gig to it, did several Fiverr gigs to it, and it's not moved at all.
Okay. Obviously I'm not familiar with exactly what you're selling. A couple of things just to kind of make sure are checked off on your list of.
Do you want the product? I can if you.
If you here's what I would say. I mean, a lot of people are listening to the webinar live. A lot of people will see this recording, and I love everybody. I trust everybody from the outset. I would just, I just don't want. I don't want you to get hurt if 19 OMGers start to God forbid encroach on your thing. So why don't you just tell me what category you're in?
Baby products.
Okay, so here's a couple things. I don't need to know the product to help you. So number one, make sure that the exact keyword phrase that you want to rank for in Google is part of your title description on your Amazon listing, and it may be, I just want to make sure that you've dotted that I.
Yep.
Okay, number 2, make sure, if at all possible, the part of or all of the exact keyword that's most important to you is part of the canonical URL that Amazon assigns to you for your product listing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yep,
okay,
yep.
so if it's part of or all of the canonical URL, that's a huge advantage. Number 3, make sure that you have the at least 5 or 6 other longer tail or LSI type keywords sprinkled throughout the description and the bullets and things like that, especially the description. I found that the description content on the Amazon listing, although not as valuable for Amazon sales, is really valuable for getting ranked on Google. So sprinkle all the related keywords and other things that you might want to be ranked for on Google, especially in the description. You don't have to use them more than once, so as long as they're in there just one time each, then you're good.
Yep.
Especially in that description. So just I'm just giving you some things that kind of check off the box, right? And then
Yep.
once all that's all set, the dash stack is great, very very powerful. I don't know what kind of a fiber gig you ran, but what I like to run is there's a tool that I know Joe uses this. He actually talks about this in his video ranking. I like to use a tool called Money Robot.
Yep.
Are you familiar with that tool?
I'm not familiar, but I have seen it. I've seen it about.
I like to use that tool and run multiple ongoing campaigns, most of which don't even have my, in fact, almost all of it doesn't have my anchor keyword in any of the links. It's just generic links like click here, for sale, all that kind of stuff. And as long as my Amazon sales page has the features that I just mentioned to you earlier, I have yet to not be able to see the Amazon page on Google homepage.
Right.
So, and I'll run constant Money Robot campaigns.
How long would it take to get it up there? How long would you expect for it to take to be?
Well, it varies depending on how competitive it is. I mean, I don't know what baby product you're in, but let's just say it's baby wipes, which I'm sure is very competitive. I'm not in that niche, but let's just say it's baby wipes. It could take a month. It could take 6 weeks. It could take, longer. I really don't know what niche you're in, but a lot of it has to do with the competition. If there's already Amazon product listings on Google for the exact keywords you are attempting to rank for, it could take longer.
Yes.
There is, yeah. So it could take twice as long if there's, because you're basically trying to beat somebody else. So that's a factor for sure. But the good news is if there's already Amazon listings on Google for it, that it's just a matter of outdoing them, so it'll happen. But it may take some more time. What else could I say? The other thing that helps is I use at least 10 press releases that promote links both to the Amazon sales page and to videos that link to the Amazon sales page and to other social media sites like my Facebook page and About Me page and things like that, and I'll put those links into my press releases, and I'll also put those links into my Money Robot campaigns.
Okay. I'm using Social Explosion with it as well.
Yep. I know I've just started using that, so I can't speak intelligently yet about Social Explosion, but I've just started using it. So.
And for our product, we have set up our own Facebook page, Twitter page, and with all that in the dash stack, so we're getting a social.
So on your Twitter page and your Facebook page and stuff, just you can really blast blast those pages to kingdom come with
Yep.
something like Money Robot.
Yep.
And as long as there's a link in there somewhere to your Amazon sales page, that will end up helping.
Yep.
And the nice thing about Money Robot, unlike some of these other ones like GSA or even Magic Submitter, the links that are going to your money site are basically Web 2.0 links. So
Yeah.
It's very easy to use, and there's less chance of you blowing anything up with it. So
Good. Yep. Excellent.
it's not too bad. Now, Brian, there's a couple of questions came in about what is a canonical URL,
Oh, okay.
and I don't know if you could explain that simply, and how do you make sure that the keyword is part of the canonical URL?
Okay, so for all of you selling products on Amazon, when you create a listing on Amazon, Amazon will assign you essentially a URL that goes directly to your product page, your sales page on Amazon, and it starts with Amazon.com, of course, and then backslash, and then I think there's a couple of characters, and then basically it'll say something like, let's say you're selling, I don't know, fountain pens. It'll say something like Joe's fountain pen manufacturer or something / and then the Amazon ASIN code, which is the unique identifier, which is like I think it's a 7 or an 11-digit code. So those words in between the ASIN code and Amazon.com, those words are essentially keywords, and those are very important. If you can get a URL from Amazon that has all or most of the primary words in the URL itself, then that is like, as good or if not better than having those words in like your title tag on a web page. Yeah, so here, go ahead and click on
This one here.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. So you'll see this is Amazon.com/Harry-Styles-Direction-Advanced-Cardboard. So those 5 words, Harry, Styles, Direction, Advanced, Cardboard, those are that's part of the canonical URL. And if those words are important keywords for you to be ranked for, that's really valuable and makes it easier for you to get ranked on Google, for example, for your sales page. And so Amazon tends to pick things like the manufacturer name and various words from the title that you put on your listing to create the 5 words that they make the URL for. And you can create a title, right, and then submit it and publish your product, and you'll see what URL Amazon assigns to you. And if you don't like it, all you have to do is just tweak the title around a little bit and submit it again, and you'll get a different URL. And what I'll do is I will kind of tweak my title and submit it multiple times until I get the URL that I want from Amazon. And sometimes it takes 3 or 4 times before I get it, where I want it, because I never know in advance what Amazon is going to assign to me until after I submit it a few times. And so I want to make sure at least 3 of those 5 words, if not all of 5 words, are relevant to what people will be searching for on Google for my keyword. So that whole thing is the canonical URL structure.
All right.
Excellent. Still on?
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm just looking at mine now, and it is. It's hard to explain without explaining exact words what it is, but you can say this word as a singular word, or you can say it as 2 words, and I've got it as a singular word, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So if it's, so you'll know if it's the way you want it or not. I mean, and if it's not the way you want it, you can switch it. Now, here's a risk, right? If you've already been doing optimization by link building and some other things, and you change your title, it's possible that if you change it, then the links that you've already set are going to go to Amazon page that no longer exists. So, you got to be careful. That's why I do this up front, and I pretty much let it stick. Now, I have oftentimes seen that even if you change your product title and Amazon assigns a new URL to the main product page, that they will automatically redirect all previous links and traffic and whatever to the new URL, but it is a risk if you've already done some work to optimize your page. So I'm just throwing it out there that, and so one of the things I do to help combat that risk is I'll set up a redirect URL, like a bit.ly or something, to the Amazon page, and then if I change my title, I can always adjust the destination link of my redirect, and although I lose a little bit of authority by redirecting to the Amazon page, or sometimes I'll even just set up a domain name like, www.productname.com, and I'll redirect that to the Amazon sales page. And I know, and you lose a little bit of power by passing the links through a different domain that redirects, but then I can change my title as many times as I want, and I don't have to worry about having links go to dead places on Amazon.
Yep. No, at the start, we didn't have that optimized, and I ran through a few of OMG training, and after about 3 or 4 weeks, we changed around and re-optimized that, and realized that the first title that we sent, the first 5 gigs, was not the same.
Yeah.
Then we just said it was only it was only sort of 3 weeks or so that was up, and then we've gone back and re-optimized that and got our keyword in the phrase. So that should be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I typically set up at least one domain name on a private registration that I will use to redirect to my Amazon products. Sometimes I'll set up multiple domain names that I'll use to link directly to my Amazon products.
All right, so does everyone understand what Brian was saying there about that redirect? Because Brian, you're setting it up, and then you send your links to your bit.ly or your domain.
Well, either bit.ly or a domain. So
Yeah.
I'll give you a specific example. So let's say I'm selling, I'll go back to fountain pens, which I don't sell on Amazon yet, although I probably should because I love fountain pens. Is anybody else like fountain pens out there, or am I the only one? I love fountain pens. I don't know. I'm just old school, I guess.
Heidi likes them.
What I would do is I would go and I would register like 2 or 3, maybe a .com, a .net, a .org, and it might be like, briansfountainpens.com or something. And I would register those domains with whomever you use, GoDaddy, Namecheap, whatever, it doesn't matter, under private registration. And then all my link building that I would do, and then I would redirect through let's say GoDaddy. You can go in there and say, okay, I want to redirect briansfountainpens.com, and I would redirect it to my Amazon link, amazon.com/whatever Amazon URL is. And then I would only do link building to briansfountainpens.com. And of course, every time someone clicks through whatever links are being set by Money Robot or GSA or RankWiz or whatever whatever you fancy, it would go to briansfountainpens.com and immediately redirect itself to my Amazon sales page. And you do lose a little bit of the link juice or authority when you do it that way, so you got to do a little bit more link building. But if I ever change my title on Amazon page and Amazon changes my URL, all I have to do is go into my GoDaddy account and update where that .com, briansfountainpens.com, is redirecting to, and all the links that I've already built to briansfountainpens.com will still work. So that's what I'm referring to. And if I'm doing a lot of link building, I will usually set up multiple domain names that I'm going to use as redirect links to my Amazon product pages. I usually don't just stick with one. I'll use multiple domains.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Does that help you out, Adrian?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So we got a little technical here. I feel like I need like a massage now. So, you know, I went from mindset to technical.
Well, that's what it's all about, you know. So that's hey, you know, we're answering questions, and I know a lot of people were wanting to get that Amazon, you know.
Cool.
Wanted to learn some more about that Amazon. So, all right, no, that's awesome. So, all right, Adrian, thanks a lot for hopping on.
Yeah, thank you. All
right, and you know, there's a couple of questions in here that popped up, and about people still wondering where to start, and you know, here's the thing. One thing is if you're working, I don't want to harp on this too much, but if you're working on your site, on your SEO site, or working on your videos and everything else, and you're not going to get clients, then it's just busy work, and it's avoidance. Because even after we were talking, I had some questions here about people still were wanting to get their site set up first, and honestly, you could work 10 hours a day on learning new techniques, putting your site together, learning DAS, learning this, learning that, learn, and if you're not going out and getting clients, you know, nothing's going to come of it. So, I don't know. That wasn't a response to a question that kind of passed through here.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more, man. I mean, you know, necessity dictates what you're going to do. So, I mean, a lot of people get stuck on, I don't have a business card, I don't have an office, I don't have a website, I don't have a nice car, I don't have a fancy suit. None of that matters, people. It really doesn't.
No, when I went to my first meeting, I went to, the day before I went to Staples, and I had them print me up 50 cards, whatever stock images they had there, you know, and that was it. And I close deals all the time. If you go to the website I use, you're welcome to go there. It's 3stagemarketing.com. I built that, I don't know when, it was 2011 or 12. I haven't touched it. Like, I haven't even updated it. It's like kind of like a placeholder. So, and the amount of people that actually go to my site is very little, because, you know, when you conversate with somebody, they know that you know what you're doing, all that stuff doesn't matter. And one thing applies, who used to say this? What his name? He used to say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Jack Mize. Jack Mize used to always say.
Jack Mize, that's right.
And it's so true, because, listen, the people you're talking to have no idea how to rank their website. They have no idea about WordPress. They have no idea how to get their video. You know, you could literally put up some videos, buy some testimonials on Fiverr about yourself, and rank them for your name, and show people that, and they will think you're the king. So, you know, you know 100 times more than they will ever know. So to them, you're the expert, and that's what you have to keep in mind. So all right. So I don't know, Brian, if this is a question you can ask. Heather asks, how does pricing work with Amazon Thing? I think that's a little too broad.
With Amazon what?
It says Amazon Thing.
Thing?
Are you talking about,
like how do I price consulting for an Amazon seller?
Is that what you're talking about, Heather?
Are you asking how do I charge to
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So that's an interesting question. Wow, I don't have some fancy formula for this. I basically, when I talk to someone who's selling products on Amazon that I'm going to help, I go for the top sellers, because I know they're selling hundreds, if not thousands, of units every day of their product. And So, you know, it's not hard for me to kind of do the math on that. You know, if someone's in the, you know, health and personal care category on Amazon and they're, you know, a top 100 or a top 500 seller, you know, they're basically, you know, let's say their product's $20, you know, they're doing anywhere from $100 to $500,000 a day in sales. And so if I ask for $5,000 or $10,000 a month to, you know, make sure that their Amazon page and a video for them is on the front page of Google for the name of their product or the, you know, that's nothing for them. They're like, yeah, sure, go for it, man. You know, so that's kind of where I like to play, and I don't like to. I like to have the money required to do whatever is necessary to create success for my client. And if they're paying me, you know, in that $5,000 to $10,000 range, then I know that, you know, if I have to call up Joe and say, hey, Joe, I need your help. You know, can you help me out with this? I can pay Joe, you know, to help me out with that. Or if I need to call Cotton, or if I need to call someone else, or if I need to buy advertising, God forbid. You know, people don't talk about that in OMG a lot, but, you know, what if I have to go buy some Facebook ads, you know, just to send some results and traffic to my customer? I want to have the money in the deal to be able to do that and create the result for my client. And so, and I'm willing to do that if it makes sense. So, you know, I don't have some fancy formula to determine how to price my services. It's more a what's going to bring me and my client joy type of a formula. And, you know, in the beginning, well, I told you in the beginning. In the beginning, I needed to make $5,000. So that's what I told them it was going to cost, and they paid it. So I kind of set my bar at that level. You know, I don't know. I know Cotton has a really good and very informative discussion on how he prices. So he gets it very, very specific and very almost scientific. If that works for you, go for it. With Amazon sales, it's a little bit there's a little bit of ambiguity there. So I go for the top 100 sellers and know that those guys are making bunches of money, and it's way, way, way valuable if I can get their product listing and their video and such on the front page of Amazon. So, you know, $5,000-10,000 a month is more than appropriate. I don't know if that answers the question or not, but
yeah, I think she says it did. So
okay.
That's good. And then there's someone else made a comment here, and he says, what if a lot of famous people have your name, a country star, football player, or someone else? So basically he's asking, you know, what if people have your same name, you know, how are you going to rank for your name?
Like Brian Williams?
Like Brian Williams, yeah.
Like Brian Williams from MSNBC, who's suspended for 6 months without pay? Yeah. Thank you very much for that one.
Yeah, but you know, here's what I would say. I mean, look, I mean, you could probably answer this yourself if you really think about it. And I'm not saying this to be mean, but this is the kind of question I probably would have asked when I first started. But the point is you can you know, Joe Smith, and then you can put whatever you want, Joe Smith SEO expert, and then rank for that. And if you tell someone, hey, go look up, you know, you want to know if I'm any good, go look up Joe Smith SEO, you know, and see what pops up. And then you control everything that person sees on that front page. They don't know you ranked all that stuff yourself. And, you know, I remember when I first started, you know, I put up a web page, and it ranked on page 1 like for the longest tail keyword. And I was beside myself, like, holy crap, look at this. You know, because I didn't know any better. Most of these people you talk to, they're not going to know, you know, that it's not that hard to rank for your name plus SEO. So, you know, like that's an obstacle that if you kind of think around or think outside the box, you're going to be able to come up with a solution to it.
Yeah, I'm going to address a couple of, again, what I call fear-based questions that are coming up here. Someone's concerned that we're talking about Amazon products and we're not talking about client getting. I don't know at what point you tuned in to the webinar, but we talked a whole bunch about client getting earlier. Pick your focus. If your focus is client getting, then my gosh, there's so much content just in this conversation and all throughout OMG that will help you with that. You can, you should and can focus on that. If you want to sell products on Amazon or become a consultant for people that are selling products on Amazon, which is a great business, I do it myself. Then make that your focal point. And the reason we're talking about this now is because some questions came up regarding it, and I happen to know a little bit about that business model. So, do not get distracted. If you're wanting to focus on, let's say local business client getting, my gosh, focus on that. Make $1 million a month doing it. It's very possible. I am sure soon we're going to hear from Cotton that he's doing just that. So, yeah, focus on it.
Yeah, if you want to get local clients and you live in the United States, find the chamber, find the BNI groups, find SCORE groups where you can go and give presentations, okay, and go to as many meetings as you can each week. And let me tell you, if you're like with the chamber, you can become an ambassador. There's all kinds of stuff you can do to go out and get clients, but you have to go out and you got to do it.
Yeah, and to Jacob, who asked, he's considering either doing Amazon client consulting or something else. Pick one, man. I can't repeat that enough. Pick the one you want to do, focus on it, master it. You can make money. Everything we've talked about tonight, you can make tons of money on. You can make millions of dollars on. You'll make more and you'll be more successful and be happier if you've narrowed it. It's not about eliminating other opportunities, but if you try to do 5 or 6 things all at once, or even 2 things all at once, especially when you're starting, it's just not going to work. Remember, you can't be you can't train to be a competitive downhill snow skier and a pole vaulter, all at once. It just doesn't work. So pick the one.
Yeah, just do it. And what I'm going to do too is I'm going to try to find that webinar I did, and it was really lame, but I'm going to see. It was. I'm going to find it. I'm going to see if David can post it. I'm going to post it to show you guys.
I love lame webinars.
Oh, well, I just, because sometimes you get on webinars and you think, oh, these guys are, I can't do what they do. They're making money because they're experts or because they've been doing it. Well, listen, you're going to listen to my webinar and you're going to think, it wasn't great, but it was my first one. Guess what? My second one was a little better. My third one was even better. My 10th one was really good. But if I never did that first one, I would never got to the 10th one.
I don't know if I've ever told you the story, Joe, but the first client that I got with the video ranking was a client that sold sunless tanning products, okay, like, things like creams and stuff that you would rub on your body to make you look tan. And if anybody's ever seen a picture of me, I am butt naked white, okay? I am like about as white as you can be without being legally considered an albino. So this client, so a friend of mine says this client, this prospect at the time is, looking to get some more exposure. I'm like, what do they do? And they sell sunless tanning products. I know nothing about this industry at all, okay? But I do know a little bit about video. So I purchased, this is how I did it. I don't know if I've ever explained this. So for there's about, I don't know, 5% of the people that were on this webinar that dropped out. So for those of you that are left, you get this nugget. So what I did is I bought their product online and get shipped to me, and it's this product that you apply to your body, and it it absorbs into your skin or something, and it makes your skin change color so that you look tan. So I have a bald head, all right? Those of you that have seen my Facebook profile page know that I'm like totally bald. So I do a video of me squirting this product in my hands and rubbing it on my head, okay? Right now, right? So visual. I'm on my webcam on my laptop doing this. Right? So I'm applying this product on my head. I didn't know any better not to put the stupid product in my palm of my hands, because what happened is not only did my head get like tan, the palms of my hands change color. Right? That's kind of weird. So, right? But I do this video, right? And I'm like a product demonstration type video, and I publish it on YouTube, and I rank it for something like, you know, world's best sunless tanning cream or something like that, and, you know, which wasn't very difficult to rank for. And I send an email to the president of the company, and I said, look, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I can help do for your company, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the president of the company forwards my email to the CEO of the company, who is this guy in Israel, and I get a call from Israel from the CEO saying, I don't know what you did, but you are now all over YouTube, all over Google, with our product, rubbing it on your silly bald head. What is it going to cost to hire you to do this professionally for my company? And that's when I said $5,000 a month. So there you go. Now you know the story. Stupid video, horrible quality, silly ass thing of me rubbing this cream on my bald head, and it was so anyway. So crazy things happen if you just, you know, kind of combine your skills and get a little weird maybe and do this stuff, and that's how I got my first customer. So there you go. I don't think I've ever told that story publicly. I'm kind of embarrassed I just did it here, but it's late at night, and I'm feeling like, you know, the people that are still on the call deserve something new. So there you go.
Yeah, so I never heard that. That is awesome.
If you want to go get clients, here's an idea.
I love it, man. And look, a lot of people that look, they're all saying that's great, love it, awesome. Fern says awesome. She got a lot. They got a lot of stuff out of it. Jacob says this is just what he needed. So man, good. I'm glad. I mean, we've gone now for almost 3 hours, so they're gonna get we're getting a little punchy. It's a little tired, but you know, I want to thank everyone for coming on. I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone's questions like I usually do. It's kind of a different kind of office hour, so I want to thank a lot of guys. You know, I know Jacob Scott, you've commented a lot. Mike Griffin, Tom James, I appreciate your enlightenment on the one-eyed man. You know, a lot of people on here that have commented, and I did not miss your questions on purpose. It's just we were kind of going. So if you could save those questions for next week, I will definitely answer. I mean, Janine Martinez, I know you commented a lot. So if you want, I can even bring you on for some hot seats next week. So I want to thank everyone for coming. And I don't know, Brian, you got any last parting words?
You know, not really. I think we've said it all here.
All right. Good, man.
I mean, I told a story publicly for the first time, Joe.
It's an awesome story, man, because it shows, you know, when you're telling that story, you know, like I visualize in my mind about opening doors, right? So like it's like if you're sitting in a room and you got 20 doors around you, and you sit in that room and you don't ever open those doors, you're just going to keep sitting in that room. But if you keep opening doors, you know, until you get through the door you want, you know, that's how you're going to get somewhere. If that makes any sense. It's like you just got to do stuff, man. You just do it. And what I used to think about is that, like, when I'd go to a chamber meeting and I'd be super nervous, I'd think, you know what, I'm never going to see these people again. And the more, there's no reason for me to be nervous because they're just people like me. And even if you screw up, you know, so what? You know, move on to somebody else. You know, so that's a great story, Brian. I loved it. I'm gonna keep that one in my vault.
I know I'm gonna regret it. I know it.
I should make.
Next time I see you, you're gonna have a box of like something like some cosmetic Like apply face or head or something.
we should have everybody hashtag spray tan.
I know I'm going to live this down. And God forbid if like Mike or anybody else, you know, listens to this recording, I'm toast.
That's great. Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, hey, man, I appreciate everybody being on. I mean, we had a lot of people stick it out. So, you know, if you guys like these hot seats and you want to come on them, you know, we'll do some more of them. So, I don't know. That's about it, man. I ain't got much else. So.
Thanks for having me tonight, man.
Hey, Brian, thank you so much. So, all right, guys, does everyone give Brian a thank you, and then we're gonna close it out in the webinar. All right, here we go. Yeah, we got a lot of thank yous coming through. Fantastic.
If anybody talks to Mike about spray tanning, they're gonna have words with me.
Remember, hashtag spray tanning. Hashtag spray. Just do it. Just hashtag spray. Spray tan.
Oh, man, I'm dead.
You'd be like, what is that? Is that a new client getting strategy? Spray tan.
Oh, great.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go have a whiskey right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, we'll see you guys later.